All right, those are the live visuals coming in. That was Dharmendra Kaur with us, giving us the report from New Delhi. And that is the big development coming in at this hour. Dharmendra Pradhan has resigned, bowing to the mounting pressure after weeks of nationwide protests over the alleged NEET paper leak. Now, his resignation comes after sustained demonstrations that were led by the CJP, student organisation and opposition parties, which had made his removal from the union cabinet the central demand of the agitation.
मिलना चाहिए ना, मिलना चाहिए ना। 1 करोड़ का मुआवजा उन सारे परिवारों को। और दूसरा, ये जो पुलिस वाले गुंडों ने हरकत करी थी 20 तारीख को, उसके ऊपर पुलिस वालों के ऊपर एक्शन तो होना ही चाहिए।
Well, those are the live visuals coming in from Jantar Mantar. And remember, the CJP began its protests in Delhi last month, and the students' support to the agitation only grew. And ever since, climate activist Sonam Wangchuk began his hunger strike as well. Now, despite Wangchuk calling off the strike last week, the CJP stayed firm on the education minister's resignation demand, making it clear that nothing lesser would be acceptable and that victory has come through. And the visuals are live on your screen, as you can see. Moments of celebration is what we are witnessing at Jantar Mantar in New Delhi following the resignation of Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. My colleague Siddhant is back with us on the phone line. Siddhant, take us also through the opposition reactions that are coming in on the resignation of the Education Minister.
Reactions have been pouring in. This is a major political development in India, and we're waiting for more reactions, including, of course, from the Congress and other political parties. But clearly, this is seen as a pivotal moment in the political history in many ways, because for a resignation like this is something that hasn't been seen for a long time. Now, the entire development will be dissected for next few days, but just to give a rewind, a backdrop of the situation, that what the government was doing so far is that as the pressure mounted, especially by the protesters, the Indian government had taken action, including, of course, on the officials, on the bureaucrats, the transfer of the education secretary. And now, of course, the political blood in many ways has been spilled with the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. There were, of course, nationwide protests as well. And primarily, as we have been saying, it was at the heart of it, the core issue, the issue of the students getting impacted. We know that the authorities, when it comes to the protesters, were, of course, when it comes to the authorities, they were making sure that there is no untoward incident. There have been celebrations, of course, in terms of the protesters' camp. There have been visuals that have been pouring in as well. We have to wait and watch as to what happened next. But the centre on Saturday moved in police forces at the protest site to essentially make sure that there is no untoward action. The DCP of the New Delhi, Sachin Sharma, also reached the protest site at the Parliament Street along with the paramilitary forces. In fact, crowds were seen pouring in out of the Jantar Mantar from Janpath end. And of course, they were cheering even as it looked like directionless so far. But clearly, there was a certain deadline which the protesters had said of 4:30 that they would be keen that the education minister resigns. That, of course, has now happened. What next for the protesters will be seen as well. In fact, our correspondent is there, Dharmendra Kaur is there. It's just that the internet connectivity is not there, so it's a little difficult in terms of sending information. But all in all, we have been on the ground and we have seen a lot of celebrations as well. But one big worry that the authorities had is the infiltration of the protests by the anti-social elements. Yes, on 20th, we saw a lot of protests, including lathi charge and brutality by the police. But we also saw a lot of anti-social elements taking advantage of it. I myself saw a police vehicle being damaged by the protesters. So there are visuals saying, putting clearly to the context of how both sides were in many ways responsible for actions which should have not happened. But clearly, now that looks like past. The key demand has been fulfilled. What next? Not only in terms of the protesters, but also in terms of the direction of these protests, and also for the political class as well. What next for them, for the opposition, for the Congress party, for, of course, other parties, including the AAP party? How will they see it as? And, of course, is this a start of a new political movement as well? We all remember 2012, what happened back then. The AAP party was a direct byproduct of that nationwide protest and in Delhi as well. But at the end of the day, these protests are so far student-led protests. Are there any political advantages that the political parties will try to get is something to be closely watched.
Thank you, Siddhant, for getting us all of those details. We'll keep coming back to you for more.